My name is Brooke Blankenship, and I am the founder and director of Yogi Squad. We are on a mission to teach children of all ages, genders, backgrounds, to experience positive social and emotional learning and physical growth through the creative and interactive yoga story times. So our dream is to teach children tools to help them start to build resiliency and help them gain support throughout their entire lives. Through the support of our yoga and literacy and mindfulness classes, we offer students an opportunity to maintain a healthy well-being and therefore raise the bar for a more successful future for our students and our children. Our classes offer a safe place to explore mindfulness and emotional expression. We thoughtfully and creatively pair a literacy component with a physical component traditionally in yoga poses. Throughout the class, children are taught tools to develop and maintain healthy social and emotional well-being. Yogi Squad believes that all children deserve access to tools that allow them to become the best version of themselves. And our goal is to share those tools with as many children as possible. We believe these tools and practices are beneficial for any child, but we especially believe the importance of these tools for our at-risk children, which is why we need your help as we try to reach as many children as possible. Our goal before the end of the year is to reach 10,000 children. So let me tell you how far we've made it with this goal. We have so far filled 2,600 mats in more than 280 classes since January of 2021. And with the continued help of generous donors and its supporters, we plan to triple those numbers by December. Ambitious? Yes. But honestly, I don't know any other way. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why I started Yogi Squad and where it came from, and on the topic of release and how we got here. So my experience with Yogi Squad, I have been an educator pretty much my entire life. I went to yoga school in 2017 really to just better my own yoga practice and myself. And I realized very quickly that I knew I wanted to share the practice, and I knew I wanted to share it with kids. I immediately came back to my school classroom or to my school library actually at the time, and convinced my principal that I had to start teaching yoga to these kids, that they needed this mindfulness. And they needed this release from all of the environmental pressures and everything that they were experiencing through school and home life. And just being a kid in today's age, it's hard. And they're dealing with lots of feelings and emotions, and sometimes they don't know how to express them, and that's where trouble starts to come in. So I really convinced him that this was absolutely needed, and he told me that as long as I made it educational, he didn't care what I did in the library. And so I found a way to combine books and yoga together, and my kids loved it. I had pre-K kids that came into the library and they thought that it was yoga time. They had no idea that library was just supposed to be sitting and reading books, because we always did yoga. And it was a great, great, great practice for us to start on a regular basis. The teachers loved it, the kids loved it, and that's how Yogi Squad began. I quit the Fort Worth ISD district in 2019 to pursue this dream full time, which obviously was a big move, but one that I have never really looked back on. It's taken a lot of determination and hard work, and especially to make it through the past 2 years, which have been a little insane. But things are really starting to look good for us now, and we are starting to get lots of support in. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about why I started this Yogi Squad, and Also, just for you to imagine, we're going to practice a little bit today and talk a little bit more about release, but also for you to imagine where you would be as an adult if you had started a mindfulness practice when you were a child. If you started really understanding how to observe and identify and let go of all of the feelings or experiences that weren't serving you any longer. It's really, really powerful, and I see it every day. This summer I had 423 yoga seats in my summer camps. 107 of those were repeat kids. And those kids, the parents come over and over again and tell me, hey, you really taught them how to let it go. Let it go. It's amazing. It's amazing what this practice can do, especially with consistency. And that's our goal. Our goal is to spread this practice to 10,000 kids by the end of the year. Again, we've got a big goal ahead of us to try to triple our numbers, but it's definitely going to happen. I know it's going to happen. So let's talk about release. The definition of release is to allow or enable to escape from confinement or to set free, to move, act, or flow freely, to remove restrictions or obligations from someone or something so that they become available for other activity, or to allow something to return to its resting position without ceasing to put pressure on it. Release is kind of heavy, isn't it? Our bodies hold on to so much. If you've never read the book, The Body Keeps Score, it's a wonderful, wonderful book about how all of our experiences and all of everything that happens to us in our life, our body keeps track of it and it keeps score, and we hold on to things even though we don't even realize it. So that is really why I believe the yoga and mindfulness practice and teaching it to these kids is such a powerful release for them, because it's teaching them the art of letting go, the practice of letting go. And it's a practice. Even as adults, we're practicing. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to have a practice with you all. I'd like for you to feel comfortable and not be staring at yourself. So sometimes we need to turn our cameras off to do that. So if you don't want to be looking at yourself and you just want to be looking at you or at me, that's totally cool. We're going to start by just sitting back in our seats, relaxing, maybe closing down your eyes, turning your attention to the breath, following the inhale as it comes in through the nose, down through the chest, into the belly, and then back up again. I'm going to read you a passage now before we add any movement into our day that really spoke to me about release. So if you'll just keep your eyes closed and just take a few moments to listen. Peace is all around you. If you forget to be peaceful, try some things. Forgive, trust, love yourself. Be still, be kind, be gentle. Do these things until peace returns. Seek places of healing. Seek places of power. Come back to center. Breathe deeply. Breathe in the air, the energy, the loving resources around you. Fill up on life. Fill up until you find and feel peace. Work things out. Work things through. Release the past. Take the steps your heart leads you to do. Do this until you find and feel peace. Breathe deeply. With each breath, release your fear. If you know what's causing your fear, write it down. Speak it out. If your fears are unknown, let them go too. Don't tangle yourself up trying to figure out or understand. Trust that your body, your soul, your heart is healing and releasing. Be gentle with yourself. A place inside you is healing its fears, telling you something, feeling something. Don't punish or abuse it for feeling afraid. That won't make your fears go away. That will make the beautiful, delicate part of you go away. Be tender and gentle. Rest until your fears subside, until peace returns. Peace is yours for the asking, the wanting, the seeking. Desire it with passion, and you shall see it, find it, have it. No matter what you're going through, your soul can be at peace. Taking a big breath in through the nose, opening the mouth up and letting that breath go. Again, in through the nose, filling all the way up, opening the mouth and letting go. Last time, in through the nose, open and let go. Bringing the hands down by the sides and then lifting them up to the sky, letting those fingertips touch together above you, looking up at those fingertips. And then letting the hands come back down again. Opening up nice and wide, bringing the arms up, big breath in. Exhale back down. Again, big breath in. Exhale down. Bringing your hands to the side of the knee, wrapping your arm to the side of the chair. We're going to come around for a gentle twist. So take a big breath in, get really tall and long in that spine, and then twisting towards the side of the room. Imagine that you're able to twist a little bit deeper with each breath in. One more big breath. Unwind and twist to the other side. One more big breath in. Coming back to center. Scoot yourself forward just a little bit in your chair. We're going to do some cat-cows, waking up the spine. So bringing the chest and the belly forward, chin tilts up towards the sky. Big breath in, pulling the chest forward through the hands, And then back out as we roll the belly button towards the spine, chin towards the chest. Big breath in and release. Breath in, release. Breath in, release. Last time, big breath in and release. Excellent job. Coming back to neutral spine, I'm going to take you through a chair salutation to the sun. So, bringing the hands down by the side, we call this seated mountain pose. We're going to bring our hands up towards the sky, just like we did in the beginning. And then we're going to fold our chest forward down towards our toes. Big breath out. Inhale, grab the knees and straighten, flatten out the spine. And then fold once more. Come all the way back up. Gather the hands at the heart. Let's try that again. Inhaling up. Exhaling, fold. Halfway lift, lengthen through the spine, and fold. Hands all the way up. Gather at the heart. Inhale up, and fold. Halfway, and fold. All the way up. Hands to the heart. Excellent job. Okay, friends, so we're going to move into a warrior series. Didn't know you were going to get a workout today, did ya? All right, so I'm going to turn to one side of my chair, and I'm going to let my whatever foot is on that side. So if I'm mirroring you, my left foot is grounding down into the ground, and then I'm going to reach that right foot out behind me. We're going to bring the arms out to the sides. We call this warrior two pose, checking in with our hips and our shoulders, bringing the arms out to the sides, looking out over the fingers, extending the energy through both the arms, flipping your palm, reversing your warrior. Back to our warrior two. Elbow to the knee, raise that arm up, big breath in. And then exhale as you draw that elbow towards the ear. Nice long line through the whole right side of the body. Big breath in, back up into warrior two. And release. We're going to bring our feet out wide now. This is one of my favorite stretches, and I know you're going to love it too. We're going to drop our shoulders one at a time, and we're going to bend our elbows. So bending your elbow and letting it stick up towards the sky, and then dropping the shoulder down. Really feeling that twist through the side body, the shoulder, the neck. And then coming back up, dipping that shoulder down. Moving a little bit faster now. Releasing the tension in the shoulders and the neck. One more round. Excellent job. And now we're going to flip to the other side. So grounding down with that right foot this time on the side of the chair. Bringing the left foot back behind you. We're going to stretch our arms out over the sides, taking your gaze out over that middle finger, checking in with your hips and your shoulders, making sure they're in one line. Pressing those feet down into the floor, feeling strong in our warrior two. Now we're going to flip our palm and reverse the warrior. Flip the palm, Reverse it up. Find that stretch through the whole side of the body, from the hip all the way up through the arm and elbow. Back into warrior two. And then elbow to the knee, arm comes up, big breath in. And elbow to the ear, stretching all the way through the left side of the body this time. Excellent job. Coming back up, turning ourselves back through the center, and then just allowing ourselves to rest in sort of a forward fold. If it feels good for you, you can bring your hands all the way down to the feet, or just rest the elbows on the knees. Allow the upper body to be heavy. Release the chin towards the chest. Allow the back of the neck to be long. And then lifting the head up. Bringing your left hand to your left hand to your right knee. And then reaching up behind you for a nice wide twist. Coming back down, other side. And releasing. Excellent. So we're going to wind down our practice now. Invite you to lift up your left knee towards the chest, and we're going to cross the ankle all the way over the knee. So this is a seated figure four or a seated pigeon pose. Flexing your foot to protect your knee. I want you to sit up really straight, nice and tall. And then we're going to hinge from our hips and fold forward over that leg. Fold until you feel that left hip start to fire up. And then we can allow the upper body to be heavy and fold into the pose, sending that nice healing breath into the left hip, imagining that each breath in is allowing you to expand and strengthen and grow. One more big breath in here. And then rising back up. We're going to heel toe the foot on the ground to the center of the body. Cross the ankle all the way over. Squeeze your legs together and bring the arms together. So our right leg is over. We're going to bring our right arm under for eagle pose, seated eagle. Lifting those elbows up towards the sky, stretching long through the front body, bringing the elbows down towards the knees. Again, lifting up, and then bringing them down, squeezing those arms and legs together, lifting up last time, and then bringing them back down. Release, shake everything out. Other side. All right, so we're gonna bring that right knee up to the chest, cross the ankle over the knee, sitting up nice and tall, nice long spine. And then we're gonna hinge forward from the hips. So hinging forward until you feel the fire in that right hip socket. Then we can allow our body to fold over the leg, breathing into that hip socket. Coming back up after your next breath. And then we're going to heel toe that foot back over to the center line of the body. Cross the ankle all the way over. We're going to squeeze those legs together. Only you know if you're really squeezing the legs together. Your teacher never knows. Just a little secret tip there. So you can fake it if you want to. But don't fake it. It feels so good, and it's such a good release. Eagle pose is a detoxing pose. This is why we're ending with this pose. So I want you to drink lots and lots of water after this to release all of those toxins in your body that we are currently squeezing out. Bring those elbows up to the sky. Drop them down towards your knees. Elbows up. Drop towards the knees. Elbows up. Drop towards the knees. Release, unwind, shake it out. Finding any final movements that you need to before we set ourselves up for our final resting pose. So our final resting pose is just going to be just how we started. We're going to sit back on our mat. I like to make sure that my heels and my knees are in one line so there's no stress on my body. Feeling the chair supporting me, feeling the ground supported beneath the chair. Placing the palms up to receive some positive energy your way. Or maybe placing the palms down to ground yourself. Wherever you are, gently closing the eyes if you're comfortable. Taking a few moments to enjoy the quiet and the stillness. Allow the body to absorb all the benefits of our release yoga practice today. Beginning to deepen the breath now. Maybe wiggling the fingers and the toes, bringing gentle awareness and gentle movement back into the body. Gently opening back up the eyes. Opening, raising the hands overhead. Taking a stretch, maybe letting out a yawn or a sigh. Bringing the hands together at heart center. So I know this is mostly adults watching, but I am going to sing you guys the Namaste Song because I'm feeling called to do it right now. And this is a song that I teach to all of my kids in my classes that teaches them about what Namaste means. So Namaste, we teach them, is all of the good that's inside of my heart sees all of the good that's inside of yours. And we sing a little song to help them remember. It goes like this. The light in me sees the light in you. The peace in me sees the peace in you. The love in me sees the love in you. Namaste. The light in me sees the light in you. The peace in me sees the peace in you. The love in me sees the love in you. Namaste. Namaste, my friends.
Namaste. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. I was over there in the corner doing my release on. I think that was such a special and incredible way to begin our morning. So now it's time for Q&A. I was here not too long being asked questions, so I'm excited to be able to ask some questions of you. So let's see what we have. Can you talk a little bit more about the mind and body connection in terms of yoga?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think studies and research is starting to show us more about the fight or flight response and how when our brain is in that mode, we are physically unable to make solid decisions. We're physically unable to. And this is important for really recognizing behaviors in kids, because when they're acting like that, again, they're not making rash decisions because they're in that fight or flight mode. So being able to incorporate mindfulness and understand that our feelings and our emotions are like waves, right? They come and they go, and we can observe them and accept them and then also move on from them. Mm-hmm. And holding that tension in the body, I mean, there's got to be a way to release it. And how we do it is through the mind. Really, it's that mindfulness practice. The release and the movement for the body is so good, but being able to sit quietly mm-hmm. and just observe the mind.
Yeah.
It's so powerful.
I think sitting still for a lot of people, even adults, is challenging. So being able to get used to doing something like that as a child, I'm sure.
And it's a practice.
Yeah.
It's definitely a practice. Even still a practice for me.
Yeah. Guilty as charged. All right, so the next question is, you said earlier that consistency helps with release. You just talked a little bit about the practice. Mm-hmm. How often and for how long, like maybe a recommendation in terms of minutes, do you recommend?
Really, I mean, it depends on the age, and it really depends on the yogi too. I mean, we have a membership where we make yoga videos of different lengths and things. So brain breaks, different classes. There's a chair yoga class. There's a meditation, family meditation class, things like that. So that's something that, if your yogi's into it, I mean, why not do it all the time? But mindfulness is something that it's not necessarily making time for it. It's incorporating those practices and learning how to bring them off the mat and into life too. This is not something that we taught in the class, but when I teach children to meditate, we teach them with peace begins with me. And it's just repeating that mantra over and over again and allowing the brain to settle itself and let go. I feel like I got off track.
No. How long and how often?
So typically we hold classes, in-person classes once a week at a local park. Toddlers, it's about a 20 to 30 minute class. Older kids, it's 45 minutes to an hour. But yeah, I mean, I'm teaching them the practices on the mat that I want them to take out into the world. I want them to be able to remember that peace begins with me when they're sitting there waiting for a test and their nerves have got them, and being able to apply all of those practices and all those social and emotional learning skills off the mat.
Yeah, thank you for that. Let's see, lots of beautiful comments.
Wonderful.
Julie said, my heart is bursting. Catherine said, seated eagle is amazing for releasing tension sitting at the screen. I think we can all relate to that right now. Vivian said, the pause and silence at the end of the practice was so healing. How do you suggest we incorporate more of that into our daily experience?
Well, that's kind of why I did the chair yoga for you guys, because I mean, how easy was that? We were literally sitting in our seats. We never got up and we found some movement. I always tell my kids, motion is lotion. You lose it and it's gone, right? I mean, and as we get older, we know that. We know that. So it's a matter of making that a daily practice and making it a habit. To just find a few minutes in your day to stretch. And I mean, anywhere you are, stretch. In the car, I do so much meditating and stretching in the car because I'm constantly traveling around. So just making that time for yourself and for your body, it's so important.
Thank you. Let's see, Julie said, any advice for someone who is struggling to release from something that no longer serves them?
Yeah, I mean, meditation is really everything that I do in my own life, in my own personal practice, comes back to my time on the mat. It seems to be the time that I can really let go and turn in and just release whatever is bothering me. The more time I spend on my mat, I mean, sometimes, y'all, I am literally just laying on my mat, but it's that time to be able to turn in and to reflect and, spending time to know that something's not serving you anymore. I mean, you have to recognize that first before you can let it go. But yeah, I encourage meditation. Meditation is really hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it. And some days are easier than others, but spending that time on your mat in silence, it's golden.
Your own little personal oasis, right?
Sure is.
All right. Lauren said, how young do you suggest starting with kiddos?
I suggest starting with kiddos from the time they are teeny tiny. I mean, honestly, you doing yoga on your mat is them doing yoga too, because they're watching you, they're being, they're little sponges, they're observing everything that you're doing.
Right.
So both of my kids from a young age were practicing yoga with me, and my littlest one, who's 4, she can sit there and do a mindful meditation, with the big kids, because she's been doing it for so long and she's just in practice. So, I mean, really, the time they're babies, you can spend time rolling around on the mat with them, and and there's baby classes as well. But yeah, I mean, toddlers sometimes they'll stare at me like I have 8 heads, and they like to observe, but that observation is still learning. They're little sponges and they're soaking it up. So, some parents are like, oh, they didn't participate. And I'm like, you know what? It's okay, because they're still they're still getting it.
Right.
They're still getting it. Keep bringing them, keep bringing them, keep bringing them.
Thank you for that. She said, I've been applying lotion wrong all these I have a question for you. I know
Sure.
that she said that you made the leap to full-time entrepreneurship. Congrats, because that is huge. How has your practice maybe aided you in that process or kept you grounded as you're kind of navigating that journey?
That's a great question. So I kind of quit my job, my full-time Fort Worth ISD gig right before COVID hit.
Okay.
So I developed my home practice, honestly, very much during that time.
Okay.
And just, I have a actual space in my home, a very, very small little breakfast nook that is the yoga room.
Okay.
And so my mat is always out.
Okay.
It's always out, and I keep it out so that I'm able to get my practice in anytime, you know, if I have 5 minutes here or there. But it's been absolutely beneficial just for my own mind, body health. And because I went from a, 8 to 4 schedule, and now I'm all over the place.
Right.
All over the place. It's been my one consistent thing. Probably my one consistent thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a journey, and
I'm sure
But
a
it's
lot
been
of
great.
the creatives can, identify with that and just, incorporating some of that, because as an entrepreneur, it can get a little crazy, and, we don't necessarily have the set schedules. It's very fluid. So I was
Yeah.
curious about that.
for sure.
Other than yoga, what do you do to stay creative?
Ooh, that's a good question too. I am very crafty. Lately, I've just been doing things to my house.
Okay.
But I am actually a very crafty person by nature. I have a fashion design and marketing degree
Okay.
in another life. So I actually am a well-trained seamstress.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, really just. I spend a lot of time building, creating with my kids,
Okay.
just spending time outside. I'm very inspired by nature and just running. I love to run. Run as creative. Oh yeah, reading, lots of books for sure. I am a big reader, avid reader. And that's, one of the reasons why Yogi Squad incorporates literacy too, is because I want to spread my passion for books to little people.
Yeah.
I want that to be, them to get excited about the magic of books too.
Very good. What is your favorite peaceful place in Fort Worth?
Ooh, the water gardens. The water gardens for sure.
Solid choice.
Yeah, the water gardens are just a hidden gem in our city, and I love them. We actually just did some filmed some yoga courses there just recently, so it was really peaceful and beautiful, and absolutely great place to practice yoga.
I'm sure. Very, very, very peaceful. So I know that you recommended the book earlier, The Body Keeps Score. Do you have any other recommendations on books that might be helpful for someone who's just kind of just getting started in their practice and kind of easing into things?
Yes. So there is another book that I just read called Breath by James Nestor.
Okay.
And it is all about, it's a wonderful book, but it's all about basically how our breathing really affects so much. It's a great one for people that are trying to get into their meditation practice as well, just to really understand more about breath. Let's see, other books I highly recommend. I know there's another one. Oh, Mark Brackett. There's another book about feelings and, basically the mind-body connection to our brain. It's kind of along the lines of the trauma. It's called Permission to Feel. It's another great book that I've recently read that I can recommend. I'm sure there's a million others. Those are the only ones that come to my mind right now, though.
2 solid, strong suggestions. Let me check the chat one more time.
Ooh, and The Alchemist. It's here in the I found it in Dita's shop earlier. It's next to that red one on the end.
Oh, right there.
Nope.
On the other side.
Yeah, there you go. All the way at the end, The Alchemist. See, it's a little teeny tiny one right at the end next to the fat one. This book is phenomenal.
It is phenomenal.
Oh, and I'm sure everybody's read this book, right? 25 years. I just found this book over COVID. I had never read it before, and it's great.
I think we can have a whole conversation on the book.
Oh my gosh, yes. So if you've never read this book can be life-changing, really life-changing and just inspirational. So.
Cool. We have one more. So can you talk a little bit more about the mind-body connection and how exercise can make me more creative or productive?
Absolutely. So having that exercise in our lives just allows us to get rid of, some of the junk that we're carrying. Just being able to give yourself a break with some movement, whether that's a walk or a stretch or whatever, just helps us to reset. And we need that. We're getting thrown at, information is getting thrown at us constantly throughout the day. And we need some time to be able to sit back and process and unwind.
Yeah. Release.
Release for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I personally have taken so much from this today. I've been able to stretch, do some releasing of my own. So thank you so much for being here, for being so open, and for sharing with us. I will let Brian wrap it up and share what we have going on next month. But thank you guys all so much. Thank you so much to Lise for having us, and we will see you next time.